Okay, well, hello everyone. We are going to start our physics online lectures, and I'm going to start with you Unit 1, Chapter 1, which is called Physical Measurement. Okay, so physical measurement or measurement in general means it is a comparison of unknown physical quantity by using a known one of same kind, which means that if you have any physical quantity you need to measure it. Okay, you need to know the quantity of this measuring unit. You must have similar physical quantity but of known value. Okay, so you're going to make a comparison between these two physical quantities, and therefore you will made a physical measurement. Okay, so in any physical measurement you must have three things. Number one, physical quantity. Number two, measuring unit. Number three, measuring unit. These are very important points. Without any one of them, you cannot make any physical measurement. Okay? Physical quantity means it is the unknown thing you will you would like to measure it. Okay? Measuring tool means the similar thing but of known value to make a comparison between the measuring tool and the physical quantity. The measuring unit, it's very important. Without the measuring unit, you cannot have any meaning of the physical quantity. Okay, you didn't make I can say you didn't make any physical quantity without the measuring unit. Okay, so we're going to start with the physical quantity. Physical quantity can be classified into two groups. Number one, fundamental physical quantity. Number two, derived physical quantity. Fundamental physical quantity means consists of three things, or consists of three physical quantities: mass, length, and time. Any other physical quantity except mass, length, and time is called derived physical quantity. So the derived physical quantity, I can say that the derived physical quantity comes from the fundamental physical quantity. Okay? Just like velocity, acceleration, force, work, pressure, area, volume, and so on. Okay, this is number one. Number two, measuring tools. In ancient men, خلاص, didn't have measuring tools, didn't have the ruler, didn't have the stopwatch, didn't have any of our modern tools. So they use some of the natural phenomenon or all the natural phenomenon and some of their parts of their bodies to measure the length. For example, the arm, the foot to measure the length. They use sunrise and sunset and the length of the shadow to determine the time, and so on. Okay, so but in modern, okay, but recently we have very measuring tools, or very modern tools. Okay, so we're going to take examples. For example, for length, ruler, meter tap, vernier caliper, micrometer. Okay, and examples to measure the mass, sensitive balance, which is used to measure the gold, for example, digital balance, which gives us its reading by numbers, analog balance, which give its reading by pointer, beam balance, some tools to measure time, just like clock, analog watch, digital watch, stopwatch, and hourglass. Okay, hourglass means الساعة الرملية. Okay, the third point is the measuring unit. I told you before that you cannot make any physical measurement without measuring tool. Okay, you will have no meaning of your physical measurement if you didn't give the physical measurement or the result you obtain a measuring unit. Okay, there are many systems for the units. For example, the French system, they put the centimeter, it's the international unit of length. The standard unit of length is centimeter, in their opinion, of course. They put gram is the measuring unit of the mass, and second is the measuring unit of time. But the British system had a different opinion. For example, the foot for length, the measuring unit is called foot. A pound, it's a measuring unit called pound, which is classified for the mass, and second, which is the measuring unit of time. But the metric system, which we applied in Egypt, the length is measured in meter, mass is measured in kilogram, and time is measured in second. But after a long time, after many discoveries, we discovered that there are more and more fundamental physical quantities like the mass and length and time. Okay, what are these fundamental physical quantities? They are 9. Okay, we are going to study it right now. Okay, length, number 1, which is measuring unit is meter. Mass, which is measuring unit is kilogram. Time, which is measuring unit is second. Electric current intensity, which is the measuring unit is ampere. Okay, luminous intensity, شدة الإضاءة, which has measuring unit called candela. Amount of material, its measuring unit is mole. The angle, which is measuring unit is radian. Solid angle, which is measuring unit is radian. And finally, absolute temperature, which is called Kelvin. Okay, some of you may ask me, the angle has measuring unit called degree, and absolute temperature has a measuring unit called Kelvin. That's completely correct, but the standard unit or the basic unit is radian for the angle and Kelvin for the temperature. Okay? Okay. Now we're going to talk about the standard units. What is meant by standard units? Standard unit means the first meter, the first kilogram, and the first second, which is used to compare it with all of our kilograms, all of our meters, all of our seconds. Okay? Let's start with the standard mass. Standard mass means it is the mass of a cylinder of specific dimensions made of platinum iridium alloy, which is kept at 0 degrees Celsius. Okay, now we are going to learn why we use platinum iridium, because of 3 points. Number 1, it's rigid. Rigid means easy to be shaped, hard to be broken. Number 2, it's chemically inactive compared to other metals. All of the metals are chemically active, but if we compare the chemical activity of platinum iridium compared to other metals, I can get that it is inactive. Okay, has very small activity. Number 3, it doesn't affect by the surrounding atmosphere. It doesn't affect by the changing in temperatures, in pressures, in humidity, compared also to the other metals. It has very small effect by the surrounding atmosphere. Okay, we use the platinum iridium in form of alloy. Alloy is a mixture of 2 elements, of course, and we use the alloy to improve the properties of the both elements. Okay, we kept it at 0 degrees Celsius in order to not to make this metal expand or not to make this metal contract. So, okay, number 2, standard length, which is called standard meter, of course. It is the distance between 2 engraved marks at the end of a rod made of platinum iridium alloy kept at 0 degrees Celsius. This means that if you have a rod of platinum iridium and we make 2 engraved marks at the 2 ends of this rod, so the distance between them is called 1 meter. Okay, number 3, the standard second. Okay, it's equal to very important number 1 over 86,400. Okay, of average solar day, of course. So it's equal to 1 over 86,400 of the average solar day. So in our day we have 86,400 seconds. This is a very important number. Okay, okay, we use many tools to measure the time. Okay, but one of the most accurate tools to measure time is called atomic cesium clock. So atomic cesium clock means it's used to measure time in very accurate way. We used atomic cesium clock measuring, for example, aviation's trips, navigation trips, spaceship trips, determination of the Earth, of the journey of the Earth around its axis, how much time did it take to rotate around itself, to rotate around the sun, and so on. Okay. Last but not least, we didn't use any measuring tool in any physical quantity. For example, if I want to measure the time taken by a racer in a race, okay, we didn't use the hourglass, we used the stopwatch. So every measuring tool has its position. We cannot I cannot measure I cannot use the ruler, for example, to measure the length of a street, and I cannot use the micrometer to measure the length of a room, of course. Every measuring tool has its specific conditions. Okay, well, that's it for today. I'm hoping you're studying well. Thank you and goodbye.